Hello everyone, welcome back on the Agri Adventures platform. Simone is here. This is another night I was looking to share with you another wine testing experience. So today I'm gonna go back in Adelaide Hills. I'm gonna go back into Ngeringa winery and in Ngeringa estate. So Ngeringa, it's a biodynamic certified winery in Adelaide Hills, Mount Marker actually. And the wine we're going to taste tonight, it's the Pinot Noir 2019, you can see. So this wine, obviously, it's sourced in the property. The grapes are grown on the state vineyard. It's grown around 350-300 acres above the sea level. So winemaking process. These grapes are picked, hand-picked, and they are obviously left pressed and left macerating in staying still for a few days. I think it's going to be like 5-6 days. Really interesting is that this wine does carbonic maceration. So for who doesn't know what carbonic maceration is, they have a sealed container, they leave the grapes inside, they remove oxygen, and they leave just carbon dioxide. What it means mainly that doing this, you don't have a beginning of the fermentation process, so you stop everything for a little while, so that you can extract more flavors from the grapes. Okay, so what else to say? This is a wild fermented wine, which means that they do not inoculate any yeasts, but they are coming from the natural environment. They generally are landing on the grapes skin. They start to interact with the sugar inside in the grapes, and so it's wild fermented, and then after the fermentation it gets in barrels, probably already used barrels, so not fresh new oak barrels. That is not specified what's the size of the barrels, however, and the wine stays in the barrels for 11 months. After 11 months it gets bottled. They add a little bit of sulfite and get ready to go. Now let's start to do a little bit of testing. We speak about, as I said, 2019. We are 22 degrees. And that is pretty interesting, because for a Pinot Noir, 22 degrees, I think is a kind of a limit of its own temperature, but we will see. Magic. As you know, I really like to go straight away sniff to the wine, because it tells a lot of the wine. Okay, already straight away what you can smell the maceration on the skin, so you can have this kind of brown color, if you want to say, this kind of winter or autumn leaves, macerated leaves, chestnut leaves, and that is a sign of a long maceration on the skin. I find actually 3 specific flavors. I found a little bit of jam. I find the fruit, in this case, connection with the cherry more than the strawberry. However, strawberry cherries generally are the type of flavors that you find in a Pinot Noir. And I found a little bit of flowers. Now, let's move it into the glass. I always try to introduce a little bit of opening time, so we just open it in like 20 seconds, maybe 40 seconds. And yes, okay, so clearly we'll move into the bush, we'll move into the strawberries and the wild strawberries. So that is really interesting. We have a little bit of raspberry too. We have a little bit of minerality, which is interesting, but is fine. And we have that's over here. We have a good acidity for what I can smell, that it bases itself on something that is brown. Again, I don't want to say, to me, brown per color, it could be tobacco, it could be wood, it could be anything that has this kind of soft, warm and dry smell, and generally is connected with the color too. Again, to me, clearly notes of wild berries, wild strawberries, a little bit of subtle tobacco, and a little bit of dry flowers, maybe a little bit of maceration. Now let's go to the mount. Oh, by the way, have a look to the color. So as we see, we are speaking about ruby red with some purple shades. And in terms of arches, oh, this is again is a 13%. It goes down really quick, but it, to me, as per looking, it's a 13%. I don't know. Nice, vibrant, by the way, arches, really nice. Now we say that the wine is starting to be more open anyway at the nose with its characteristic smells. And okay, first of all, I have to say that yes, 22 degrees are a little bit too much for this wine. I will go below. I will say 21 degrees. However, you can find straight away the nice, fresh, crispy acidity that makes this wine really easy to work with in terms of food. It's so interesting. I have cherries on the spirit. I have a little bit of tobacco. It's a wine that pulls out interesting flavors, I have to say, and calls interesting flavors in terms of food. Is asking to me, for instance, some anchovies, which is really interesting. Anchovies, they generally have a good fat content, therefore you have the acidity from the wine helps to clear the fatness, but also anchovies, they have this kind of brownish olives maceration, if you want to say, flavor, and this wine, it seems it has some connection with that intensity and this flavor. This wine, it goes well, in my opinion, with game food. We speak about a possible venison. Definitely, this is a wine that the venison and wine and this wine, they work really well together, especially when you have some, like for instance, wrapped in pancetta, and you have this small venison steak wrapped in pancetta, and then just pan fried, seared. You have a sweetness inside, and then you have the wine just at the same level. So minerality goes in counterbalance of the sweetness in the meat. You have the greasiness from the pancetta, and you have the acidity in the wine. So from that point, you can go a little bit below. You can stay on pasta, and you have wild game ragu pasta. It could be ravioli. It could be dumplings with again meat fillings. It could be what could be else? In terms of fish, I'm not sure if this one could work, mainly because we have a high level of acidity, which is fine, and you can counterbalance with greasiness from maybe some extra sauce. But the problem is that the bitterness from the tannins, it's gonna squeeze down all the softness and all the light flavors in the fish. So I will not use this wine for fish. In terms of games, like again, you can have pheasant, it works really well. You can have mushrooms, it works really well. You can blend these things together, they work really well. You can have pheasant cream base with mushrooms, and then you're gonna be okay, because in this case the creaminess is gonna counterbalance with the acidity and the minerality. The sweetness in the cream goes against the minerality in the wine, and then they work together. It's really interesting how this wine, it is surprisingly intense for being a Pinot Noir. So it has a lot of base that we generally, I'm expecting, have less body in the wine. I didn't actually check what's the percentage of alcohol for this wine. Well, it's a 13%, which is fine. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this tasting experience. I've been spending a lot of time discussing about the possible match of these Pinot Noir 2019 from Ngeringa. We are speaking about the everyday consumption wine line for the winery, which on itself it's a really good quality. Again, website, we're speaking about Ngeringa.com. You can go to visit, remember you can, but you have to book if you want to go over there. And then this one, it costs around, on their website, $33 per bottle, so pretty good wine. Again, have a good evening from Simone from the AgriAdventures platform, and see you the next time here for another wine tasting. Ciao ciao.